created 25 feet from here.
Oh,
okay.
Literally, the building next to me was where Slack was invented. That's still like their little micro Vancouver office, which they moved their headquarters to San Francisco to raise money,
as you do.
but they were actually started here in Vancouver in Canada. And literally their building is like right next door to me. And so I see Slack people all the time, although they have very small staff here in Vancouver anymore. The point is, I know some of their security people, and they spend money on security. Like, they really do put a lot of effort into it. This thing last week where they were sending everybody's hash passwords with every channel invite, it was pretty shocking to me that they had this big security flub up. But in the end, fortunately, they were hashed passwords and they were stored reasonably securely, and little harm was done. So I think they work hard at the security side of it. But the problem Slack has is a million different inputs. There's just always a lot of vulnerabilities. And the other problem with Slack is their cookies almost never expire. So like, their multi-factor is worthless. So if you're using it for enterprise chat, it's a bit of a problem, because if I steal your cookie, I can impersonate you on Slack pretty much forever. Last I checked, I want to say their cookies expire 3 years.
Wow.
So literally, if I steal your cookie, I bypass your MFA, and I've got 3 years of access to impersonate you.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem, right? And some other services are similarly bad, but most of them, if you're in an enterprise account, you can set your own policies, right? So like, if you've got a G Suite, you can go into G Suite once you're a professional user and say, I want to set my cookies to 7 days, or same in Office 365, right? With Microsoft, you set your own authentication once. If you want to inconvenience your users and make them log in twice a day, you can do that. Where Slack, it's not really in your control. And we're seeing more and more criminals realize that there's no point in phishing multi-factor tokens if you can just bypass them by stealing cookies.
Okay, but now I got to know, like, how do you steal cookies?
Oh, I mean, that's simple. I mean, there's pretty much every Trojan that you get on your computer steals all your cookies. That's just standard operating practice at this point. There's obviously other ways to do it manually as well. So we do occasionally. In fact, did we publish this yet? No, it's not published yet. Any day now, the 18th. We're publishing a blog on the 18th about cookie theft. So Thursday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern, and I think it'll go live. We're seeing two types of cookie theft. One is just your common Trojans. If you get hit with one of these Emitat Trojans, or what's getting more and more common now is this Bumblebee email Trojans. The first thing they do is steal all the cookies on the computer and see if there's any useful session cookies they can sell off on the dark markets. So that's kind of a commodity harvesting of cookies. But then we're also seeing attackers, when they are doing ransomware attacks, use cookies to elevate privilege, right? So they might break into a non-important person's account. Maybe they break into the computer that the janitors share to track the maintenance logs for, waxing the floors. And it's like, oh crap, well, what do we do with that? Well, what if we just take the cookies, and now we've got the Slack cookie for the janitor. We can use that to social engineer somebody else in Slack in tech support into maybe doing something else that gives us, so they're, obviously stealing the cookies by hand is just a matter of literally accessing the files on the computer and taking them, right? I mean, once you're on the computer, if you've compromised the computer, you can just go into the browser and take the cookies. And they will do that manually for one-off privilege escalation in the middle of an attack while they're doing lateral movement, right? So you come in an unprivileged situation and you leverage some of these cookies to impersonate the person in Outlook Web Access, in Slack, in whatever web-based enterprise apps they're using, and use that as a foothold in order to social engineer your way into higher privileges while you're doing your attack.
Wow. Sophisticated.
Yeah, and the problem is, it doesn't matter whether you're using tokens or, an authenticator app or duo push, or it doesn't matter what kind of two-factor you have. If you've got the cookie and the expiration on those cookies is long enough, I steal the cookie, I no longer have to use any of those multi-factor things. So we're unfortunately getting into new territory with, we have a feature called Cookie Guard that we're releasing in the product soon, but even that's not perfect. I mean, it does a better job than having no protection, but I mean, it's not going to stop 100% of cookie theft. It's going to stop the commodity stuff because we know what to look for. But if it's a human being manually going through stuff, no different than a human being manually using red teamer tools, if they want to go at it long enough, they'll find a way around it.
See, Chet, this is why we bring you on, man. We've barely even started, and
Have we started?
the fun stuff just drops. I love it.